Please go ahead, sir. We are live now. Please unmute yourself, sir.
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Okay, sorry, my apologies. Good afternoon to everyone. I, on behalf of ASSOCHAM, welcome you all to explore and discuss the key developments and way forward to the webinar on Tripura Agro Sector Logistics, its challenges and solutions. Today's webinar will dwell primarily on the agri-logistics sectors and the many opportunities connected to the same. We are honored to have amongst us Shri Anshul Gupta ji, General Manager Northeast Frontier Railways, Mr. Chandrakant Jamatia ji, Secretary, Department of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Government of Tripura, Mr. M.R. Gopal ji, GM NABARD, amongst many dignitaries. We are all aware that opportunities evolve through challenges, and it is no small story how Tripura has overcome the many challenges to become one of the most strategic and sought after investment destination in the Northeast. Tripura is the third smallest state in India and comes next only to Sikkim in the Northeast. Out of the total area, 4.87 lakh hectare in the gross cropped area in the state and comprising almost 1.21 lakh hectare area in the horticulture crop alone. In the Tripura, the agroclimatic conditions favors pineapple, which is a GI crop of Tripura, areca nut, which is being cultivated at around approximately 6,800 hectares, jackfruit, lime lemon, tamarind, wood apple, popularly known as bell, flowers, there are which is being cultivated in Tripura. Other than this, flowers under protected cultivation and open cultivations and other major crops are being grown in Tripura. The major crop is actually rice, which is grown throughout the state, and other cash crop includes jute, cotton, tea, and sugarcane. Rubber has a huge potential along with agar-agar cultivation from which the state derives its name. Geographically, Tripura is positioned both as a potential trade route as it shares 3/4 of its boundary with Bangladesh, which borders the states on three sides. It is connected with the northeastern states through the national highway passing through Mizoram and shared boundary with Assam in the north. The state is well connected with road network internally, whereas the Northeast Frontier Railways connects major cities and places in Tripura through its network. If I am not wrong, already the connectivity from the western sector, from the West Bengal area, the goods movement has started taking place towards Bangladesh. So we will take the view of the Northeast Frontier Railways, how they plan to come across with the solutions from the Tripura through these interactions. Some of the key points that we will discuss on today's webinar is about linking FPOs, marketing agency, producers, processor, existing cold storage units, logistic providers, and research institutions. Way forward for bridging the gap along with local solutions at farm level packaging, awareness among startups or entrepreneurs on technology interventions, adequate tech interventions for smart warehousing and supply chain solutions. We are glad to share that we have major contributors and decision makers on this webinar who can create a strong impact for the state of Tripura and address the various challenges that the state is facing to unlock its true potential. I will now request Shri Avinash Ikaria ji, who is the chairman of ASSOCHAM for Tripura chapter, to kindly welcome the guest. Thank you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you and welcome all the eminent speakers here. Honorable Sri Chandra Kumar Jamatia Sahab, Secretary, Department of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Government of Tripura. Sri Anshul Gupta Sahab, GM Northeast Frontier Railway, and Sri M.R. Gopal Sahab, General Manager OIC NABARD. Sri Ranjan Ji, Chairman ASSOCHAM, Agriculture Sub Council Eastern Zone. Shri Narendra Singh Rathod Sahab, Vice Chancellor, Udaipur, and distinguished panelists. It gives me an immense pleasure to welcome you all in the inaugural session of ASSOCHAM's conference in Tripura Agro sector, logistics challenges and solutions. As we are all aware about Tripura, as Tripura being the second most populous state in northeastern region after Assam, Tripura acts and can act better as a gateway between the northeastern India and Bangladesh, and shares an 856-kilometer international border. Tripura has a potential to be the logistics hub in the northeastern states. Utilizing the infrastructure of neighboring Bangladesh, the state is linked with the Bangladesh ports, roadways, and railway networks, and making the state a logistics hub for the entire northeastern region. Logistics and the agriculture-based industry ensure the optimum and continuous flow of agro goods from farmers, suppliers to producers and consumers. Some of the activities that needed to be facilitated in this logistics process include agricultural production, acquisition, storage, handling, transportation, and distribution. कुछ चीजें मैं बोलना चाह रहा हूँ साहब आप लोग सबको we welcome the setting up of integrated logistics facility along with container yard and warehousing by Container Corporation of India Limited at Agartala. That will reduce the cost of transportation immensely for both international and domestic cargoes for the northeastern region in general and the state of Tripura in particular. Dedicated custom clearance department at Agartala airport said facilitate the process of export of agri products of Tripura state. And issue of phytosanitary certificate by APEDA and NCUI to the exporters of fresh fruits, vegetables, and processed food products of Tripura state will facilitate the process of smooth export of agri products of Tripura state. I invite the eminent speakers to guide us the way forward on these points as well. I am confident that today's deliberations will help the industry members explore the opportunities that this multi-ethnic beautiful state of Tripura has to offer. At ASSOCHAM Northeast Council, our effort is to support the industry and regional development. I look forward to the interactions of the day. With all these words, I thank you for your presence today and welcome all once again to this very important webinar. Suswagatam, Suswagatam, Suswagatam.
Thank you, Avinash-ji, for your wonderful welcome address. And we request Mr. Mark Gopal-ji, General Manager, OIC NABARD, to present the keynote address.
Very good afternoon. Am I audible, please?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Distinguished speakers, distinguished audience, and the organizers, ASSOCHAM. Indeed, it's a very great privilege and pleasure to be part of this important seminar on agro-logistics issues and the challenges and the solutions. In fact, we are very much happy to know that the timing of this particular seminar is very apt in the sense that we are actually grappling with the problem of marketing of the produce that is brought about by the small and marginal farmers who constitute about 95% of the total farming community that is there in the state of Tripura. In fact, the land holdings are very small in size, hardly about half an hectare. And so the only choice that is available to us is aggregation or collectivization of the small and marginal producers so that they are able to market their produce in order to get better income. The two pillars that guide the economy of the state is Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, Atmanirbhar Tripura, which wants the farmers to produce what is required in the state as well as meet the requirements of the other states and the country as a whole, and maybe even exports. So with this in the background and also the objective of doubling the farmers' income, we have the only choice of going for collectivization of the small and marginal farmers. And in this direction, the state government's initiative to have a perspective plan for increasing the agriculture production so that it meets the requirements of the state is praiseworthy. The state government particularly has been able to garner resources from various sources, including the Rural Infrastructure Development Fund of NABARD for creating rural infrastructure, particularly in the agriculture and allied sectors. In fact, the agriculture market development has been on the forefront of the agenda of the state government while availing these funds. The last year, that is 2020-21, saw an offtake of nearly 300 crores towards infrastructure projects, which included agri markets, fisheries knowledge centers, agri logistics. And this year also, we are having a good expectation of the offtake under Rural Infrastructure Development Fund for activities such as lighting, solar lighting in marketplaces. So the state government is focusing on the marketing part to a large extent, and NABARD is there to support through the various schemes and funds which are available, such as the Warehouse Infrastructure Fund, the Fisheries Infrastructure Development Fund, the Animal Husbandry Infrastructure Development Fund, and also the Dairy Infrastructure Development Fund, not to mention about the Micro Irrigation Fund, which is available to support the production process. So with these funds which is available, I think the state government would be able to create the infrastructure required for development of the agriculture and allied sectors. This would also spur the investments from the private sector in a big way, and it is the need of the hour of the state that we should be in a position to offer the best possible facilities to the private investors who would be chipping in from different corners of the country and the world also. In fact, today morning there was a very interesting seminar which I attended, which was on about the agri startups, the supporting of agri startups. Simple innovations which have been brought about by young scientists and young entrepreneurs are going a long way in the agri value chain development in states like Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, and so on. So I think it is time that we should attract the startups also to focus on the state of Tripura for meeting the infrastructure requirements as well as the value chain requirements. What personally I feel that Tripura has got a basket of agricultural produce starting from food grains right up to the flowers as well as the fruits and vegetables. But the marketing is the biggest problem, and also the fisheries is an important sector, but marketing is a problem. So I think if we are able to focus on the deliberations on the issues relating to marketing, value chain development, the infrastructure development as part of the agenda of today's seminar, it would be worthwhile, because we are having sufficient produce, but we are not able to market it only because of lack of logistic support. And for logistic support, all this from the state government side, all the support from NABARD is available as far as the infrastructure development funds are concerned. And some of these funds even cater to the requirements of the private individuals and companies and corporate sector also. For instance, Fisheries Infrastructure Development Fund, the funding is available even to the private entrepreneurs, cooperative societies, or even the corporates. But a great deal of awareness creation is necessary, because when we have a discussion with the various stakeholders, the point that we realize is that the awareness level is very low, even at the corporate level. So a great deal of awareness creation is required, and the entire analysis of the value chain is required to be carried out, and we'll have to actually use convergence as the mantra for the success of the development of this agro sector as it is, because the production part is somewhat taken care of, but the marketing is the weak link in this whole business. And for this purpose, NABARD is having a good number of subsidiaries like NAB Ventures to support the startups, NAB Foundation to try and experiment with models which can be suitable for replication in the long run. And the NABARD consultancy services is also available, as well as a NAB Kisan is available, where we try to finance the entrepreneurs as well as the farmer producer organizations. My humble submission in this August forum is that farmers producer organizations and off-farm producer organization could be a major key to solving this particular problem of agro-logistics. But we need good handholding agencies who will be able to support these farmers to come into groups, nurture them, and make them compliant with the statutes, either under the Companies Law or under the Cooperative Societies Act, whichever form or nature of organization that is formed out of these farmers collectives. But a great deal of handholding is required, and there is a big gap, and we are looking for support from other northeastern states or even the other states of the country for giving this important handholding support, which will go a long way in creating the required collectives at various levels. So I really thank the ASSOCHAM for coming up with this novel idea of conducting a seminar on this important topic, which has been at the center of our attention also for a long time. But ASSOCHAM has taken the lead in organizing this seminar and has invited excellent guest speakers so that we could have threadbare discussions on this important topic and maybe come out with some recommendations which we could take up at various levels to ensure that the agro-logistics challenges are fully met with viable solutions. With these few words, I would like to conclude my opening remarks on this important seminar, and wish that we are able to come out with some workable solutions. And I can assure you that from NABARD side, as far as Tripura Regional Office is concerned, we would be able to get the maximum support, no matter what kind of institution it is, whether it is at the research institution level or the corporate sector or the state government entities. We are always there to help and support with our schemes and programs. Thanks a lot to the organizers for giving me an opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for it, sharing your views, and the points that you have shared are really noteworthy. And the schemes like Agriculture Infrastructure Fund and the various infrastructure fund like Rural Infrastructure Funds, which are available for both the FPOs, the entrepreneurs, and the government departments, are a very big support for the government of Tripura to encourage more entrepreneurs to invest in the state. Likewise, the MOVCD schemes and specifically your contribution with the micro irrigation support to the Tripura government has been very noteworthy. We are well aware of the NABARD support through its various NAB skill and NAB ventures and other wings of under NABARD, which has been very aggressively placed for the northeastern region and specifically Tripura. And we look forward, we have taken your points and we'll come across with our suggestions in the next to you shortly. We request now our special address by Shri Anshul Gupta ji, General Manager, Northeast Frontier Railways, to kindly present his views. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. First of all, I must thank ASSOCHAM for organizing this event. It's a wonderful thing to talk of agro sector logistics, because we have seen that Northeast region, from railways point of view, it's totally different from other parts of the country, where our focus has been basically on carrying bulk products and other things. But when we come to Northeast India, the focus has suddenly changes to a different category of commodities, and that has been the change and the mental makeup which has now taken over all the railway people, railway system here, and we are totally for the development and facilitating the agro sector logistics. So my compliment for ASSOCHAM and other organizers as well as the state government for taking a initiative, becoming first mover in this direction. I just mentioned that railways, now the agriculture sector, especially the increasing the income of farmers through rail, has become the primemost, you can say the topmost priority. Honorable Prime Minister and rail ministers in their various, I think, directions when they address us or they meet us, it's the focus area for us now. Basic idea is when we focus on something, not only we have to provide the facilities at the stations and adjacent to the stations, but on the rolling stock. I'm talking of the parcel vans or wagons or the containers, which we should provide to carry appropriate wagons to carry wagons and rolling stock to carry these, whether it's a fruit or vegetable or even fishery products. So that's the focus, and now we are solely devoted to this this idea, you can say this initiative. As you know that Kisan Rail has been a priority area for Indian Railways, and especially when we started last year, 2020-21, most of the Kisan Rails, they used to come to this part, and we hardly went, I think, around 19 trains in the whole year from this part northeast to other parts of the country. But this year there is a lot of change. Now we have more than 70 trains, maybe I think 70, 71 trains. We are able to move from this northeast to other parts of the country. So this shows that there is a change. The change has come not because of railways or say farmers or this thing. It's a integrated, or you can say the harmonious approach from railways, from state government, agencies like NABARD, various marketing agencies, FPOs, who are working in this field. And this is the need of the hour whenever we want to, you can say, raise the scale of this operation. And that's what our focus is. Tripura, if I talk of Tripura state, we are having 28 stations, nearly 8 good sheds and 1 private siding. I have already given instructions that all these 37 locations, they should be open to carry, to load any type of fruit, vegetable or fishery product, and appropriate rolling stock shall be made available. So I will also learn during the course of our interaction today that what kind of challenges or what kind of rolling stock shall be needed for various types of products or produces to be carried on railways. But what we have seen, we are already carrying a number of vegetables and fruits from Tripura, but in small quantities. But of late, with the help of state government, Tripura state government, Secretary Agriculture is already here. We have organized a number of road shows also in last few days, and we carry on this road shows. But this time we want to engage not only railway and state government, but even the container corporation also. We have called them that they should come and understand the requirement of the stakeholders there. And even the people, or we were talking about the marketing efforts, the people who are associated in creating demand at other parts of the country, like we call them business development units. So we have 16 railways and nearly 70 divisions. So these BDUs, they work in an integrated manner and they know what kind of demand is there. So I think that whatever the marketing effort of the state or FPOs or you can say agricultural sector is there in Tripura, we are all there to help through our efforts wherever the demand is there, but equal efforts are required from the state and the local players also. And what we feel that though we were carrying a lot of traffic from outward traffic in other categories, the same type of level now we have to think and develop infrastructure also. In that, I just mentioned that the few of the things which we want to, and we are focusing the fruits, vegetables, rubber, horticulture also, and fisheries, because in Bengal, a lot of fishery products, including fish seeds, they are being carried by railways and even exported also. They are carried to the airport, the nearest airport, or wherever the facility is there, they're sent out. Similarly for horticulture products also. Similar happens with the exotic fruits also. Like kiwis also we have started carrying from Arunachal Pradesh. So facilities and other things, they already exist with us. Now what we need, what we can provide, I'll just mention, but what is the need of the hour is the consolidators or aggregators, what we call. So we will also be empaneling a few aggregators to work closely with the state government, but again, the local players or the state level players, they have to come out with the policy or some systems or processes where the aggregators, they get developed, because the farm produce, as was mentioned also, that maybe the farm holding of a farmer or producer may not be that large. So the role of the aggregator, again, not from the profit motive, somebody who can extend this market linkage to their farm is the need of the hour. And technology can be a great facilitator and integrator. So that is one thing which I think the state government has to do. And second is railways shall provide all types of facilities like storage, stacking, and other things at its goods sheds and terminals. As I mentioned, at 37 locations, there is no issue, including our parcel godowns, wherever we have set up, and wherever the new stations are coming up, including near the Bangladesh border, whether it's a Sabroom or Nishanpur. So that is what we can offer. But now the state has to help that warehousing facilities, as it was mentioned also. So rail side warehousing facility is in need of our, because if something, the aggregator, the farmer is bringing something, and train has to leave maybe after 8 hours or next day, there has to be some warehousing facility to be set up, preferably in public-private partnership, so that not only the farm produce is stored, but the economy also gets a boost by having the public-private partnership to set up these warehousing facilities. Now, CWC, CRWC, and other private warehousing companies, we are already talking to them. So if together we can talk to them and invite for these road shows and other marketing efforts which the state will do, this will create a lot of, you can say, buzz on this objective, or this creating a new economy mover in the state of Tripura. Rubber is another area, because now with the new import barriers coming in for tire production. So now rubber also, we have already started carrying rubber, but in small quantities. So rubber and rubber products is another area, because we can carry to the destinations where this tire and toy maker, all these companies are there. And again, Government of India's special focus is on this Atmanirbhar Bharat, as well as toy production in India. So rubber is very important, this item to produce these things. So these market linkages also we can provide, but ultimately somebody has to tie up and aggregate all these producers. I must talk of the Kisan Whale, as I mentioned initially. Kisan Whale, because the income has to be doubled or tripled of our farmers. So this subsidy of 50%, it goes directly to the farmer. 50% of the subsidy carries. So this is a good, very, very good initiative, and lot of farmers so far on northeast and other part of the country, they have taken advantage of this. I think the same should happen in Tripura also, and VPs also. Whatever the mail express and long distance trains are running, the VPs we are opening for carrying fruits, vegetables, and other items as well. And lastly, I'll just finish by telling that now we have to think of setting. We were talking of logistic parks. Within the logistic parks, we have to create agro hubs as there is a trend in say Western countries. Even we have started tea tours in Bengal, where the tourists come, they go to tea gardens. So on similar lines, we can also organize or create these agro tours in the state of the Tripura, so that word is spread that what type of the fruits, vegetables, or flowers are being produced there. And a startup, as Mr. Gopal, he has already mentioned, this is another thing, because one of my very close friend who was in US, he has started in Andhra, a startup, and within the years, I think last few years, he is very, very successful. So these are the things which can create a local, you can say state-wise economy growing about the agriculture. So agriculture is a big, you can say, economy generator for not only for the country or state, but even for the people of the state. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the very detailed knowledge from the Northeastern Railways yourself. And the stress on perishable commodity being provided by your office for the Northeastern sector, and specifically the Tripura and other places, is very, very important for helping the state commodity get a market in major part of India, as well as for the export domain. The storage and your very priority sectors, considering the storage or stacking being provided by the railways, will be of great help to the many players in the value chain development for the agriculture for the state of Tripura. And all the dignitaries, we are very glad to inform you that our guest of honor, Mr. Chandrakant Jamatia, sir, has just joined us some time back, and we will take his address. But prior to that, we request Dr. Narendra Singh Rathore, Vice Chancellor, MP UAT Udaipur, to provide his views. Thank you.
Good afternoon to one and all. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. First of all, I take this opportunity to welcome all our eminent speaker, and we are really elevated to see that Secretary of Department of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare has joined us. And at the same time, we heard our General Manager Northeast Front Railway, as well as the General Manager NABARD has also given his views, and of course, Chairman ASSOCHAM deserve appreciation for organization of this program. I would like to add that as far as the agro sector logistic challenges are concerned, we are supposed to take it in an integrated way, because logistic management in agriculture industries, it is the process that ensure the optimum and the continuous flow of agro goods and agro product from manufacturer to supplier to producer to processing unit, and finally eventually to the consumer. So this is the complete process line is there. So logistic is not only related to one aspect, but we are supposed to keep in mind that what are the different issues which farmers are facing as far as the production, productivity, profitability, even quality production is concerned, and even how we can make this agriculture profession as a remunerative, and what are the climate change, because we will have to cope with the climate change, even soil erosion, biodiversity losses. So as far as the logistic management is concerned, it is the integrated option which is available in our front, and some of the activity which is needed in order to streamline the logistic process. They includes very important thing is agriculture production up to our expectation. Second is acquisition. Third is a storage. Fourth is a handling. Fifth is a transportation, and finally it is a distribution. Although new law came into the picture, but still people are not coming forward to accept it. So we will have to educate the people in a right way, and we will have to see it is a crucial and that the activity in this process are effectively managed to guarantee the customer demand. They are met in time, and as well as the maximum value of cultivated project should be achieved. That should be our targeted view. And moreover, I would like to add that it is essential to minimize the distribution expenses. It is the very first thing which is basically is there. Time is short, so I don't want to give much more details on this one, but we will have to minimize the distribution expenses. Even we will have to improve the circulation of agriculture goods, and we will have to reduce the unnecessary losses, and how we can have environmental friendly logistics. For that, a right type of planning, right type of a preparation, right type of a proceeding, and right type of a pursuance, which is in need of our means a persistently we will have to pursue. And as far as the planning is concerned, it is not a easy job. We will have to see that how we can articulate and how we can converse different type of appropriate technology which is available, how we can explore the possibility of a possible collaboration, cooperation. And I am happy that even the NABARD General Manager and our Northeast Railway General Manager both have extended the support in order to streamline some of the activities. So basically, in case of a logistic management, we will have to see that it is not only conversion of technology, but we will have to explore the right type of a collaboration and cooperation, even coordination, and right type of networking is required in case if we are jumping for a export type of planning. And same thing is true that a right type of a capacity development and training, especially for the farmers, and it is also in need of our. There are number of problems are available. There is a growing demand of a different type of things. Even climate change, I have already mentioned. And very important thing which is there, which is really creating a hindrance in the process of a production of a valuated project, that is a cost of power or electricity, and it is too expensive, and sometimes it is lost half of the farmer profit. That is true. As far as the energy cost is concerned, labor availability is a big issue. Even there are number of a problem as far as the trade and investment is concerned. So I would like to mention that let us identify what are the critical issues in this case. As you mentioned that water is of course is a critical issue as far as the rice cultivation is concerned, because you must be knowing that around on an average 125 centimeter of water column per hectare wise water requirement is there for as far as the rice is concerned. So modern agriculture, they basically across the world, they are most global user of water. So we will have to see, and let us also examine that what is the rate and impact of development of technology, and what type of safety and security during our when the product moves from a production site to the consumer end. And even biosecurity is one of the very important thing which perhaps we are missing. That how we can reduce the infection of a bird and even a herd of animal. You might have seen that many times in a newspaper, number of activities are available. So there are lot of things is there which we need to discuss in a detail. But major problem as far as the Indian agriculture is concerned, which is known as a lack of organized agriculture marketing. And Indian farmers are facing the problem of low income from their marketable surplus, and in absence of a proper organized marketing. That's why there is a need to have a market intelligence And perhaps you must be knowing that there is a new terminology which is very popular nowadays, that is OPD, identifying a new opportunity in the market, then penetration, and then finally development. So this is the major problem. How we can solve this problem? That is basically something we will have to do. Even a right type of education, we will have to create a right education and awareness in the mindset of it, all different stakeholders, even policymakers, so that things will be streamlined in a different way. There are a lot of issues are coming in my mind, but since time is short, so I don't want to give a big lecture. But I am really happy to see that you people have decided, ASSOCHAM really deserve appreciation that they have decided to organize a very pertinent topic, that what are the different challenges and solution, especially for agro sector logistics. So with this, thank you very much. Thanks a lot to all of you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Just to brief you, actually, from the point of view of industry, where we see problem, we see opportunities as well. So you have rather spoken more of opportunities to us than problems. And we see Tripura as a land of opportunities. And like you see, the land cannot be moved. It is into a specifically agroclimatic zone. So what can be moved is through all this require the support of logistics, require the support of transportations, road, rail, air connectivity. So how do we connect all these things through convergence and through the support of the industry, policymakers, and academicians like yourself? That is where the platform comes into collecting the views and collaborating with all of you to come across with a strong policy and support structure. Before I request our honorable guest, Secretary Sir, to give his address, I request the ASSOCHAM team to kindly release the knowledge report. With the support of NABARD, this knowledge report has been prepared, and we are grateful to the NABARD team to provide us the opportunities for collaborating with various agencies to prepare this report. And we will be sharing this report to with all the dignitaries. And we request, if anybody requires a soft copy immediately, the ASSOCHAM team can come across and send the soft copy to them. Thank you, sir. And I request on behalf of ASSOCHAM, Honorable Sir, Secretary Sir, Department of Agriculture, Farmers Welfare, Government of Tripura, to kindly give his address.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. And I'm very much happy to be part of this webinar. Thank you very much to have invited me to be part of this webinar. And first of all, I'd like to congratulate ASSOCHAM for celebrating its 100 years and also for organizing the webinar on Tripura Agro sector logistic challenges and solutions. I thank, first of all, Mr. Ranjan D. Sen, Chairman, Agriculture Sub-Council, ASSOCHAM East, and Mr. Avinash Sikaria, Chairman, ASSOCHAM Tripura Chapter, Mr. M.R. Gopal, GM, NABARD Tripura, Mr. Anshul Gupta, GM, Northeast Frontier Railway, Dr. Narendra Singh Rathore, Vice Chancellor, MP UAT Udaipur, and all other eminent speakers like Dr. V.K. Kanpal, Mr. Binoy Chirania, Dr. Rauhanji, then Dr. T.K. Maiti, Mr. Anurag Lempati, and all other participants. In Tripura, in our state, we have we have created one state logistics support group comprising the various stakeholders, various departments like transport, railway department, then Airport Authority of India, customs, industries and commerce, agriculture, horticulture, and MSME. Comprising all these important stakeholders, we have created one state logistics support group. And after a series of meetings, as GM Northeast Frontier Railway was mentioning, we have recently conducted route shows also to create sensitize the various stakeholders in this regard. And as it is known that Tripura is a agrarian state, and there is a lot of scope to enhance the productivity of fruits and vegetables. And just I'd like to point out some of the challenges that we have been facing. The number one challenges that we have been facing is like inadequate post-harvest management infrastructure. Tripura has been producing perishable goods and fruits like pineapple, jackfruits, and many other varieties. And there is inadequate post-harvest management infrastructure is felt, and therefore there is a need to create infrastructure facilities. And secondly, there is again poor packaging practices. There is no that packaging house facility is not there. Of course, recently we have constructed one pack house at Nagisara Horticulture Research Center that is about to be inaugurated now. Third is lack of scientific ripening facilities for crops like banana. In our state, banana is also produced in large scale, but there is no scientific ripening facilities for these crops also, so that also can be taken care of. And next is like lack of cold chain facilities. Presence of integrated cold chain infrastructure is low and for horticulture products in the state, and there's no availability of refrigerated trucks even. So it is a challenge. Then challenges related to processing units. There has been a series of discussions even with Niti Aayog that some investors initially have shown interest to establish processing units, but it is not practically, I don't know, it is not happening. So the state does not have sufficient processing activities. So because of that, so that is required. And with these challenges, I would like to suggest some of the interventions like infrastructure related interventions like promoting integrated value chain. It is required in our state. And there may be common infrastructure at all regulated markets for sorting, grading, and washing. So that can also be thought of. With the intervention of the state support logistics support group, we have identified some of the locations where aggregation and sorting, grading locations in various important nearby railway stations, so that facilities can be created. And also we may declare attractive transport subsidy for marketing of the processed food outside the state, and special cargo facilities with minimum prices may be initiated. The state support group suggested even to buy some wagoner of the state, and it can be tagged with the railway departments. That is also under active consideration. And market promotion activities by the government may be taken up focusing on specialties of the raw materials grown in the state. And next is there may be sufficient infrastructure in the market yard to handle the commodities scientifically. And integrated pack house having a capacity of handling 10 empty produces per shift may be established in all district headquarters to handle the produces grown around the district and marketable at distant markets. So, and next is all the integrated pack house may be strengthened with sufficient pre-cooling and cooling facilities with weighbridge at entry and exit gate. And also the all regulated markets should be arranged with sufficient weighbridge management under the scheme of Agriculture Infrastructure Fund. We have submitted some of the projects also regarding these, but that is, I mean, sanction is being awaited. So if these issues can be resolved, I think it will encourage the farmers to produce, enhance the produces. So with these few words, I would like to once again thank the ASSOCHAM for organizing this webinar and all the participants. And thank you very much and wishing you all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable words. And we have taken the note again to all of you, including yours, to present this with our investors and other industry partners. And not only this, sir, we are very much encouraged with all major of the parties, dignitary speakers saying about the startups contributing positively to the growth of a state. So we also from ASSOCHAM we have conducted several startup support programs and mentorships also, and many of our partners are engaged with universities, central agriculture universities, and other thing on bringing innovative and research products in post-harvest management, better inputs, sustainable practices, crop practices, which can increase the shelf life and make the products better, acceptable, and also into biological and botanical solutions, which are very in need of the hour considering the strategic location of many of our of the northeastern states. The organic value chain development, the mission organic value chain development is also a major contribution for the developing of the northeastern sector in terms of the creating the required infrastructure support. And we look forward to providing or coming across with minimal solutions and industry partners for the positive endeavors for the state of Tripura. Thank you to the inaugural session for joining us in the inaugural sessions. We will now move on to the plenary sessions to have a detailed discussion on the points raised by the many speakers, the dignitaries over here, and we will share the reports with all of you in due course of time. Thank you, sir. Thank you, all of you, for joining us and giving a valuable time. So now, as a session moderator, we are the discussion points for the plenary sessions will be the importance of linking FPOs, marketing agencies, producers, processors in the state, and the integrated cold chain development and logistics providers. As in the inaugural sessions, many of our speakers have provided their valuable views on how the strategic location of Tripura and the marketing challenges is being faced. So in this perspective, I request Shri M.R. Gopalji, General Manager, NABARD, to initiate the discussion. Thank you so much to you. Gopalji, are you there?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
My video is not starting.
Okay.
There seems to be some problem. Just give me a moment, please.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yes, when we talk about farmer producer organizations, this was an experiment that was done initially sometime in the year 2011-12, with which we met with some success, and then the program was upscaled through the grant support to create and nurture the farmer producer organizations. Deliberately, NABARD had kept it very a generic term called farmer producer organization, not mentioning it as a farmer producer company or a cooperative society, because the choice was left to the owners of the company, that is the farmers, what form and mode in which they would like to run the show. There are some very good examples of some farmer producer organizations which are doing nearly 20 crores turnover of business within about a period of 6 to 8 months of its inception. But there are a number of farmer producer organizations who find the compliance to be a major challenge or bottleneck in running successfully. About 4,000 to 5,000 farmer producer organizations are under the NABARD fold itself. And the government of India has come up with a scheme of promoting 10,000 farmer producer organizations with some kind of guarantee support also, which has been instituted through the NABARD channel. Now, the main challenge is that the availability of bank loan, and for which the banking network, when I talk about the state like Tripura, I must definitely mention that we have quite a strong network of branches spread across the state, covering 500 plus locations. And in case we start counting the cooperative sector, cooperative banking sector, if we add the primary agriculture credit societies, that would add something like another 250 odd institutions, which are the grassroots level primary societies trying to purvey the credit to the small and marginal farmers at various levels. Now, the important challenge that we face in aggregating farmers is a good handholding agency, as I mentioned earlier. So the Government of India scheme for development of 10,000 FPOs specifically mentioned the presence of a CBBO, that is a capacity building organization, cluster-based capacity building organization, which would take care of the right from the initial steps of formation, bringing the people together, bringing them into the confidence level so that they become part of the organization, which is going to be run by the people, for the people, and of the people. This kind of arrangement was thought of, and the presence of a qualified chartered accountant or a company secretary, especially with regard to the conduct of the various compliance-based procedures and processes, was very well underlined in the guidelines of the 10,000 FPO scheme. Now, I must mention that a lot of concessions have been given for the bank loan, which would be given to the farmer producer organizations, and the process of identifying or empaneling the capacity building or cluster-based business organization, CBPO, which we call, has been done across various states. But in Tripura, the two major implementing agencies, that is NCDC, NABARD and SFAC, there has been, although SFAC has been able to identify good number of CBBOs, whereas NABARD and NCDC could not find good CBBOs to handhold or form these FPOs in the state. So this is a major challenge for us, and now we are trying to get the support of CBBOs from the neighboring states. So given this condition, perhaps the FPOs which were promoted by the Department of Agriculture in the past can be strengthened and boosted to handle the higher order functions of a farmer producer organization. So coming to the point that FPOs could be a solution for this value chain development, as well as the logistic requirements which will be needed. The investment levels will be huge, and bank credit is definitely available in the form of the number of scheduled commercial banks and a very active regional rural bank, as well as the state cooperative bank which is present in the state, and with new age banks like small finance banks also coming into the picture. We have a good possibility of a credit support, but we need to develop the infrastructure as well as the formation of these groups into vibrant collectives. And that is going to be the challenge which I think the panelists can discuss one by one, or they could flag the other important issues with regard to development of FPOs as a possible solution for the agri-logistic challenges. NABARD has been even toying with the idea of developing the primary agriculture credit societies, which I was mentioning some time back, to transform into multi-service centers. That means they could even don the role of aggregating the producers who are already under their fold for taking the credit. And Agriculture Infrastructure Fund offers the State Cooperative Bank at a much concessional rate of financing at almost 4%, and with an interest subvention of something like 3%. The net rate of interest that will be chargeable to the primary agriculture credit societies will come to nearly 1%, which is highly affordable. And we could think of models like Telangana, which has developed some kind of primary agriculture cooperative societies, donning the role of a farm machinery hub. So we are even trying to develop these primary societies to become custom hiring centers for small agriculture machinery, which is very much required for the small farmers of the state of Tripura. Or they could even offer the package of services covering the basic primary processing at the farm gate infrastructure level. And Agriculture Infrastructure Fund is a huge fund that is available through the banking channel, which can meet the investment requirements of the farmers. So as far as the infrastructure part and investment part is concerned, I think the development financial institution in NABARD and the commercial banks and RRBs and cooperative banks are well set and poised to meet the credit requirements of the state. As the general manager of the railways was mentioning, that we need to have the convergence part. That means we have to work together as a team. So maybe the value chain development would have to involve the analysis of various value chain actors and various value chain interventions, which would be requiring a great deal of credit, which is available from the banking sector. So with these few words, I would give the floor to the speakers to deliberate upon the FPO as a possible tool for overcoming the challenges of agri-logistics.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Very nicely said, sir. Actually, there are the funds, the various types of funds which are available. from various schemes and projects from the government, as government is multi sectoral. The biggest challenge that we find is there are few takers of that. If there are takers, they are not able to actually address the fund positively or in the right way. So there is a lack with our various interactions through mentorships and through entrepreneurship development programs. We find the key support structure that we all require today is development of entrepreneurs, agripreneurs, to be rightly said. There are many new projects coming up, new ideas coming up, but how these ideas can be uh, like supported through these venture projects is a key requirement of this hour. With this, I will request Mr. Dr. B.K. Kanpalji, Joint Director, ICI Research Complex for Northeastern Hill Region, Tripura, to kindly present his views. Thank you, sir.
Namaskar to all, and thank you to ASSOCHAM and especially Kalol Ghoshji and the Sain Saab to giving me this opportunity to be present part of this important meeting. Basically, if I see, I am a scientist by profession, and being a scientist, my job is to raise questions. So I am going to raise few of the questions. So probably that will help to resolve the issues, resolve the issues. Most of the things Dr. Rathod has told, that's very crucial. We are talking about this logistic challenges and all those things only in the marketing sectors and the transportation sector, but it's start from the farms itself. So what we are doing with that one, I'll give you a small example. Why we need that? First, we have to understand why we need this logistics. You see, recently there is one report. By the way, how much time I have? 10 minutes?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
10 minutes. Okay. So I'll give you a small example. Recently, United Nations Environmental Program (UNEP) has given one report, Food Waste Index Report 2021, on which it has said 17% of the total food produce which is going to the consumer's level, that is going waste. And if it would have been saved, almost 619 million people globally would have not gone to sleep hungry. So it's a huge amount. And if you take in Indian situations, the estimate is 50 kg of food per capita per annum is going waste in India. And if we take the farm level losses, it's almost 20% of the complete losses. And we take the farm level losses, they are almost 40% losses. So how we are catching this? If we can catch these 40%, so it means 1/3 we have produced more than 1/3 more food. So rather than logistics, that part only, we have to consider how we are addressing that food, reducing the food waste first. The second thing I'm coming, because whatever Gopalji has said and many people are saying, we are not doing these things in the first time. Since almost 30 years, I'm seeing the data. Since 30 or 40 years, we are emphasizing everything in the Northeast. We have done a lot of work in the past also. But we have to understand why we have not got so success. Why we have not transformed the way we have put the investment here. That's the basic questions we have to raise ourselves. First, I'll give you why we have not done that one. The hypothesis, what hypothesis we made for this region. We have to first challenge. I am again asking, we have to challenge the questions, the basic things, what we hypothesis, the mental model with which we are working in the Northeast. That's what we have to understand. The first one, even I am a part of the Niti Aayog, this analysis member of the Niti Aayog program, where we are assessing the vegetables and the fruits production potential in the Northeast. So our hypothesis goes like this, that the Northeast has the great potential for the horticultural crops. Great biodiversity is there. And if you harvest this biodiversity, the Northeast region would be horticulture hotspot of the India. Yes, agreed. But we have to see the ground realities also. In the whole Northeast, it's 29 million hectare area almost. Out of that, only feasible arable land is only 16%. If you go to the extreme Arunachal Pradesh, it's only 1.5% of the total geographical area of Arunachal Pradesh is arable land. And if you come to the Tripura, if you take the whole India, it's almost 1/3, 143 million hectare, 1/3, 33% area is arable land. But if you come to the Tripura, it's just 23.5% area is arable land. If you go to the out of this arable land, almost 150, it's almost 255 million thousand hectare area. Out of that, 151,000 hectare area is under plantation crops and the perennial crops. So it means for the vegetables and the other crops we are talking about, we have almost 100,000 hectare area only. Out of the 1,000 hectare area, 100 hectare area, only 48,000 hectare area is active floodplains where you cannot grow vegetables and fruits. So we are left with almost 50,000 hectare area only. We don't have the capacity to expand horizontally to that area. Only for 50,000 hectare. And at this moment, we have already crossed 46,000 hectare area under vegetables and fruits in Tripura. So it means the horizontal expansion, what we are talking, we have a great potential. But where is the land? We have done the feasibility analysis for that land. Whether we have really land to grow that. Yes, we can grow. We have biodiversity. We can grow multiple crops. Yes, agreed. But it has limitations. It has the climatic limitations. How much production we can achieve? Can we have that one analysis we have done? So that's what we have to, while we are thinking for the logistics, we have to be realistic. Whatever actual data we have, the data tells we don't have arable lands more than that. So how we will do it? The second one, the second hypothesis I'm talking about, that's NEH is surplus in fruits and vegetables. If, yes, I agree, NEH may be surplus in fruits and vegetables. But if you will see, it's not normally distributed. It's plutocratic. It means if the most of the people give the examples of the jackfruit and the pineapple. How many days it's the surplus glut is there? Only 15 to 20 days, 30 days. For that, can we make it an industry with the 15 days glut? Can we make a logistic supports for transportation and everything for just for 15 and 20 days? And how much is excess of the demand? Whatever we are table purpose using, beyond that, how much is the area is available? How much production is available? If you'll see that one, that's what, because most of the time we say that even Niramek has done, that's a pineapple industry they have run. Established in 1980s almost, but it never ran successfully. Why? Because we have never so much surplus to feed that industry, to feed that logistic. Similarly, can we have a complete train material will be available? Third thing, vegetables and fruits are perishable, not like the grains which you can store a long time. It will be only 15 to 20 days at most you can store. So we don't have that kind of the peaks that we cannot aggregate the whole year. This much production was there and we are sending it together. It's the peaks where we are growing. It's the only one, we are getting throughout the year only one peak where we are we have the gluts. So we have to think it twice that whether we have a surplus of food throughout the year, vegetables and the fruits throughout the year, whether we have the surplus or not. That's a very important thing. And the third comes, we talk about the storage facilities are less here. That's the second hypothesis we made, that we don't have the storage facility here. And I'll say in Tripura, I have the state government data is there, 19 units are there with the capacity of 65,500 metric tons. And our vegetable and fruit production is 12,38,000 metric tons. And out of that, 40% material we cannot store in the net. They are perishable in the cold storage. So 60%, if you take, that becomes 738,000 metric tons. And our capacity, if we take perishable material, we cannot put throughout the year. We have to vegetable 15 to 20 days, at the most 3 months. So it means we have 231,000 metric tons of storage capacity for the fruits and vegetable in Tripura. But most of the critical points where I'm going, we have created that facility. Out of that, 30,500 metric tons of it not working, not repairing. Why? Because we have not created the skill to repair that. The basic logistic support which is required in this zone for repairing those machines, repairing of those things, running those machines, that kind of skill is not available. That's the thing. So we have to create that. So I'll not take much time. I have many points to say there, but I'll say only two, three things. One, the availability of data. The state government, that there should be a statement should go there that the availability of data should be at least monthly. The monthly data should be there so that we are knowing when the peaks comes for the fruits and vegetables, so that we can regulate it. Second thing, even in the Niki Ayog I was questioning, if you compete, we say that its geographical area is very tough. We cannot grow many things. And we compete the cabbage and other crops, tomato and other things, potato, we compete with the mainlands. So we will become uneconomic. But we take it not the high terrains and all those things. I don't take it as a negative. I take it as a positive. We have the opportunity just like in Uttarakhand, we have done now. Uttarakhand is the major supplier of vegetables to off-season vegetables to Azadpur Mandi, the largest supplier. So similarly, if we have the hills, high terrains, so which are our niche area, which are our niche crops, just like the field pea in the summer we can grow in our hills, the bottle gourds, chow chow, dragon fruits, and off-season vegetables and organics. If we can give the GI and all those things to them, then that will be our niche area. Only we are concentrating only on those crops, not in all crops. Then we are the one district, one crop. That concept you can take and we can analyze those things. Then we can make it a success. The second thing, as I told that we have many cold storage facilities.
Sorry to interrupt.
2 minutes. Just we have the cold storage facilities. All cold storage facilities are more than 1,000 metric tons. That will not work in this terrain. We have to make the block-wise terrain at the block level, which are 10 to 50 metric tons capacity. So that, and we have to make the network for them. If you are making that network, probably we can make a change. So at last, I'll say, if you can make the right logistics based on the ground reality, could make the rich solutions to the poor farmers. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable words. Thanks for sharing a different perspective altogether from the point of view of a scientific, and rather than addressing the logistic issue, why the logistic question is very appropriate. Now, just to rotate, sir, the discussion to a different area, I will request Dr. Rohangis Hayati Dahiya, Vice President Technical Horticulture of Amol Pharmaceutical, Jaipur, Rajasthan, to kindly present her views. Dr. Dahiya, are you there? ASSOCHAM team, can you just confirm?
Yes, sir, we are checking it, sir.
Or want to
Chair,
bring,
may I please request you to kindly request the other speakers to kindly speak on, please.
okay. I will request Mr. Biray Chirani ji.
Namaskar, sir. Thank you, and good afternoon to all the eminent speakers, panelists, and guests. A lot have been heard, and I will thank ASSOCHAM to organize this webinar. Hello. I continue. It's
তপন বাবু মাইকটা অন আছে একটু হ্যাঁ বলিয়ে
thank you. So we have heard all the cross views, railways, NABARDs, and Dr. Basant Kandyapji, who have very well explained that the bottleneck is not the storage infrastructure or even the large temperature control units. We have been running 2 units in Agartala warehousing. It's a big complex of 30,000, to be precise, 32,000 metric ton of 2 units, one Panya and Amtalli. And but I can say, we have been CWC have been doing for farmers, basically to avoid the distress sell for storing food grains, also to support this horticulture where whichever can come to warehouses. But actually, not many farmers or FPO come forward to utilize our services, and we are constrained to utilize our space for industries, industrial products rather than agriculture producers. Lot are said, lot such initiatives takes place, farmers comes, but they are not, volumes are not enough for warehouse to come into the warehouses. So we need to this agri-produce aggregators, so that, and there should be a complete chain, supply chain, so that it could come to the warehouses and we will take care rest. We will preserve them scientifically. We take care. We have our laboratory. We have our lorry beverages. We have entire scientific warehousing facility at providing complete services at one single location. Presently, we are operating in Agartala, but besides that, we are in Chandrapur also. We have a unit. Again, state government has also allotted us land in Sabroom. So this we are coming up with the new projects also to serve our priority is always the farmers. If farmers doesn't come up, we have to utilize our space productively. We also give 30% discounts to the farmers and 10% to the cooperatives and the startups in our tariff, which is again a very nominal tariff. So we try to give best to our farmers, but I will request the state government and other stakeholders so that they encourage FPOs and provide that environment so that they could warehousing facility could be utilized by them. Railways, GM Railway Anshul Gupta ji has said about the rail side need of the rail side warehousing. We have been requesting, I will say, if I can take this opportunity, in Jirania, we have done the market survey. It is learned that rail side warehousing is a need to encourage the rail traffic, also rail bound traffic, and it will help the traders. We have been following with the railways also to allot us. We have already a MOU. If the railways can help us, we are ready to build a warehousing infrastructure there. We have been also writing to the state governments to allot us the land to create additional warehousing infrastructure wherever they want, subject to its feasibility. So we are there to discharge our responsibility as a national storage agency. We are there, and I will say we will always be prepared and ready to invest our own fund. We do not need support from any other NABARD or any other stakeholder. We can invest our own funding, provided we get the land from the state government. I will not take much time. Since the question answer session is already there, I will be ready to prepare. Means I will be. It will be very welcome if there are any questions regarding that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mr. Binayji, for your valuable views. Now I request Dr. T.K. Maiti, Principal, College of Agriculture, Tripura, to kindly provide his view. After that, after Dr. Maiti, we will interact with Mr. Anurag Malampati, who is a startup in the logistics sector. But before that, we request Dr. T.K. Maiti to kindly present his view.
Thank you, one and all. At the outset, I express my sincere thanks to the ASSOCHAM for giving me an opportunity to this interested topics. So before going to these topics, value addition in vegetable-based enterprise, I like to throw some light on the Indian agriculture, particularly during independence. We have been shortfall in the food grain production, and after the concerted efforts through Green Revolution, White Revolution, Blue Revolution, and Yellow Revolution, etc., we are now in a position, rather than exporting, we are importing, we are exporting the different food items. Now we are in a better position in most of the crops, like in world situation, largest producer of tea in the world, second largest producer in wheat and rice, and second largest producer in sugarcane production, also the second largest producer in fruits and vegetables, edible oil production, the fourth position. Overall, only 2% vegetables and fruits are processed. Most of in the total production, 25 to 30% of fruits and vegetables are wasted during that, maybe during transit, during storage, etc. So my concern, if we take more vegetables, so we have to think alternatively, because most of the vegetables are seasonal in nature. So to round up their availability, we have to go through the food processing. And this food processing industry has major role, particularly in economy also. And sorry. So the food production in the food processing industry is the 5th largest industry in India, and 6.2% of the GDP, and account of the 10% country export and 6% of the total industrial investment. Regarding the market size, it is around $200 billion, and the average growth is 7 to 8% annually. So there is enough scope to this processing, not only on vegetable, but in the other items, that is fruits, that is dairy products, meat, etc., like this. So in the value-added products, only 37% is the process. So there are a number of advantages of food processing. So we have sufficient biodiversity, and we have produced number of crops due to varied agroclimatic situation. So there, and also the resource person, but the information on this aspect, there is more information is available, but there are some constants I would like to discuss in the later on. And so total food processing, India's strength, that is changing age profile, that is most of these last, according to the last census, there is a large part of population are young, that is 20 to 50 years of age, and that contributes about 45% population. And this, in this population size, there is a tendency to process, to take processed food. And there also, nowadays, more people are more concerned about the health concerns. So there is enough scope for processing industry. Like now, I am interested about this to give you some information. Status: India's share in global agriculture export is 1.6 only. That is only horticulture aspect. That is very, very meager. Though we have the production base is more, that is, I have already mentioned that second in vegetables, fruits, and tea also we are the highest in the world. So there is enough, so but we could not exploit this export on the process items. And most of these in India, most of the food processing industry is under unorganized sector, whereas in other sectors, other countries, that is developed countries, they are under organized sectors. So altogether, these have been our concern to involve more, that is self-help group as well as a farmer producer organization, mostly deal with this to reduce the overproduction and market plus to reduce the market situation also. So overall, in low level of food processing in vegetables, fruits and vegetables, only 2.2% is processing, whereas maximum in milk or milk products, that is dairy products. In other products, not only so encouraging, only meat. That is to some extent it is quite higher, 21% to 22% only. So I have mentioned that in fruits and vegetables, that is the production base is more, and the processing, the most of the food processing industries are under organized, unorganized sector, and in organized sector it is only 1.4%. And the share of structural components in the processed food and vegetables in the long term should be as domestic market is 30%, institutional market including defense also 40%, and export is 30%. So now what value addition? Any step in the production process that improves the product for the customers, and customers also, they are interested about their relative importance of their product and the cost. So they are interested about their beneficial effect of the product process products. So food processing pathway for value addition, like to encourage commercialization and value addition to agriculture and horticulture produce, for minimizing pre and post-harvest wastage, generating employment, and leads to the diversification and commercialization of the agri-horticulture produce, enhancing the income of the farmer, creating surplus for export, overall for comprehensive development of the for the rural economy. So what are the value-added products we can just tell? That is table and drop consumption. That is also value addition. And also liquid and beverages, that may be alcoholic, non-alcoholic, health drinks, pulp and other semi-liquids, culinary products, pharmaceutical, audio resins, cosmetics, confectionaries, recycling of the horticulture waste also. So in principle of vegetable processing include the following: harvesting maturity and methods, packaging, poster-based management, storage, canning, marketing, and transport also. So there are a number of, if we consider for the SWOT analysis of vegetable processing industry, that is at a huge production base, we are second in the production, and priority sector of government also emphasized that the vegetable processing industry as the priority sector. So there is a main problem in the processing sector that mentioned by the different earlier speakers, that the infrastructural facility is very, very poor in the country. I'm not considering about the Tripura, because I am not so much acquainted with the Tripura agriculture, because I am very, my tenure is very brief.
Excuse me, sir. We are running short of time. If you can conclude.
Okay, just I am. So there are different processing of vegetables like canning, dehydration, freezing, chemical preservation, etc. So there are number of vegetables suitable for the processing. Just I could not mention there. So this is time taking. So I'm just, there are a number of vegetable varieties are developed in the country for vegetable processing also. So enterprises for vegetable products, that is dehydrated vegetables, pre-packaging vegetables, wax emulsion of vegetables, evaporative cool store, pickles and chutneys, instant pickles, potato flour, potato with chips, potato wafer, tomato, different tomato products also. So in the food processing industry, there are a number of major multinational companies, that is like Nestle, Pepsi, Coke, Kellogg's, etc. In major Indian companies, ITC, Dabur, Britannia, Parle, Amul, etc. And the Reliance also coming to Indian multinational companies like you came there, Reliance, Bharti Group, Tata's, etc. So just I am concluding, a strong and dynamic food processing sector could play a vital role in diversifying agricultural activities, improving value addition opportunities, and creating surplus for exports or agro-food products. The desired growth of horticulture sector in general and economic prosperity of rural farmer in particular is achievable only with the effective integration and synergy between horticulture and agro-based industries. Value addition ensures better market and a remunerative price of the horticulture produce by making it more marketable, creating better entrepreneurship for the unemployed youth. Thank you.
Thank you for your valuable notes, sir. Now, concluding, but we have kept Mr. Anurag Malampati at the end because of his dynamic industrial outlook. And Mr. Anurag Malampati is the founder and executive director of Live India Food and Logistics Private Limited. This is a startup founded in 2017 and is considered the second largest player in grinder seller space in India, surpassing some of the bigger competitors on his way. I request Mr. Anurag Malampati to kindly share his views and how he could actually achieve such great heights at such fast pace in so less time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So Anurag here, and I am a CEO at Leap India Food and Logistics. So firstly, thanks to ASSOCHAM for organizing this event and a very good evening to all the members of the panel here. So I think a lot has already been covered by the other panelists on the agri sector. One place where I would like to speak about is the agri infrastructure. So if you look at Tripura, right, before coming to this event, I was just studying about Tripura's agricultural production and everything. And one thing which I found was it is higher than the national average when it comes to rice. But wheat, it is not at par with the national average. So I think since CWC is here and since also NF Railway is part of this panel, I think two suggestions that I would like to give here. One from both from the infrastructure perspective, but one from the railway perspective, is if the gauge conversion could happen faster in Tripura. Because if you look at the network of Indian Railways, where we transport specialized wagons today for handling rice and wheat, these are done in broad gauge, and in narrow gauge, this is not possible. So for these wagons to come to Tripura and also, you know, more enhance the logistics sector, I think conversion of gauge is something that I would like to suggest, number one. And number two, I would like to suggest to CWC to bring in more public-private partnership in warehouses, right? Not only in warehouses, but bringing in modern silos. There have been a lot of reports and committees which have spoken about the benefits on how long the grain can be preserved in silos. So I think I would request CWC to consider bringing up such silos under PPP mode, and also maybe suggest the same to the government of Tripura, because once you have this, not in big capacity, but in small capacity of 5,000 tons or 10,000 tons, grains can be stored for almost 4 to 5 years, giving farmers a better way to store grain for a longer shelf life period. So I think these are the two suggestions that I would like to make. And we as entrepreneurs, we have been working in Northeast. So I think we would like to see more of opportunities under PPP sector, because Tripura is a growing state, and as entrepreneurs, we would like to partner with the government in doing new things. So I think one way would be to have more PPP projects. So these are the 2-3 thoughts that I wanted to share, and that's about it. Since the panel is running short of time, I would probably hand it over back to Ranjan Sen and maybe throw it out open for the Q&A session.
Thank you for such a short and sweet but very important points that you have shared with us. If ASSOCHAM team does, we have a Dr. Dahiya with us.
No, sir, I
ASSOCHAM?
think due to some technical glitch, she was unable to join us back.
Okay. Now, is there any questions from the audience? Manish?
Sir, in the chat box, I think. No, they are just organized. No, sir.
So thank you all of you for providing your valuable
just
time.
one thing, Rajan, since I want to clarify, Anurag ji. First thing, in Tripura, it's broad gauge now. It's not narrow gauge or meter gauge. That's what they have to understand. Second thing, we are almost in the tropical zone. So wheat is not a common crop here. So we can't say the wheat production will be very high. Rice is very good, but wheat cannot be grown. Climatically, it's not suitable in this zone. So that's what his comment was there. It's not feasible here. So we have to see that that cannot be possible, that the production will be very less.
Sir, I have one question for you.
Yes, yeah, please.
The recent government policy towards palm oil production has given a huge importance to the northeastern sector to address the oil sector discrepancy or the mismatch with the demand and supply which is being imported from the Southeast Asian countries. Now, what is your view on the palm oil production in the northeastern hill, and whether it will be affecting the biodiversity or any bringing a positive impact on the livelihood?
I'll put it in a two way. First thing, Palm oil was introduced almost 30 years ago in Tripura also. It's in Mizoram also. Many places in the Manipur also, Nagaland also. It was introduced in the whole Northeast, considering that will be a potential crop for this region zone. But that was not a success here. Why? Because for the fertilization of its flower, a beetle is required. And the beetle does not survive in this environment of this zone. So that is the beetle, survival of beetle for the pollination of its flower is very important. That was not there. First thing. Second thing, I will come. Why we want to go to the palm oil? We have, as I said, we have almost 48,000 hectares of rice fallow area, which is suitable for the mustard crop. And you know, all Bengalis and all people loves mustard oil and mustard ka jhol. ठीक है? तो मस्टर्ड का झोल जब हमारे 48,000 हेक्टेयर एरिया में वहां हम राइस फैलो में मस्टर्ड ले सकते हैं. We can take mustard very easily, provided we are just sifting for 15 days the rice crop. That's what the state government, I'm repeatedly saying to the state government, that you make a plan that by October months your rice field is clear. So we can go for the mustard, and we'll go 25 up to 25 quintal per hectare mustard yield we can attain here in this zone. It's wonderful area. Second thing, it's not only mustard. For the fish also, we need the feed made, the food required. And the mustard oil cake is the best feed for the fish also. So we are getting the two-way benefits. The oil, और मच्छी के लिए तेल भी मिल रहा है और मच्छी के लिए फूड भी मिल रहा है. So that's the wonderful thing. So other than palm oil and all those things, mustard. And if you are bringing the mustard here, then we are bringing the honeybees also. The entrepreneurship of the honeybee we can bring here. So that's the multiple chain we can make in this Northeast. So rather than palm oil, I recommend mustard. That's the great thing. That's what we can do great. Okay.
Thank you, sir. And I will request Mr. Last question to Mr. Binayji. You have not mentioned the basic crop that you are doing, like for warehousing. What is the actual crop that you are providing the facility for warehousing? Like Tripura has a huge potential of pineapples and perishable commodities, which is basically the products of the northeastern region. But you have such vast, huge capacity. For what particular facility that you are providing?
In fact, our warehouses were mainly meant for food grains, that is rice and wheat. That for them it is a scientifically designed, but other products can be also stored there. But the horticulture products, what you are saying, hardly have any shelf life, and those products usually doesn't comes to warehouse because they don't have, there is not quantity, the volumes. There are not enough volumes for warehousing. Again, we had in Amtalli, Agartala, Amtalli, we had a cold storage also, which after running into losses for 10 years, operating in a loss for 10 years, we have to shut it down, the cold storage. It was 1,000.
That is why Mr. Malampati had Malampati had Mr. Anurag told very nicely that we require more PPP mode. Like it is not possible for large organizations to actually look at niche segment. Which many of our speakers have told that Northeast is basically, we can look at a high value, low yield, low quantity crop rather than high quantity and low value crop. So because of the land constraints, which even Dr. Kanpal has detailed in his presentation. So I think so your suggestions as from the point of view as such, we can include that more of the PPP mode can be encouraged in such.
I want to come in. I want to suggest one thing, that at a farm gate logistic, we are coming up with another concept under Ministry of Food Processing, a concept of farm gate logistics, wherein we are providing a small cold temperature control units along with a vehicles temperature controlled vehicles which can collect the farm produces from farmers farms gate and store in the small size as Dr. Basanji has also said that we need a small capacity warehouses, temperature, not the large. For pilot project, we are doing 3 pilot projects in Arunachal as per the MOU with the state government, government of Arunachal. But once this pilot project successfully is done, we will implement it in other areas. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And if you are based in Tripura?
No, sir. I look after Northeast in Guwahati, from Guwahati.
Guwahati. Okay. So let us see that how we can actually join hands together with research institutions, warehousing corporation, logistic providers, railways, and most importantly, the various state governments and specifically the government of Tripura in converging all the ideas together and potentiality that each of you have to come across with solutions that the farmers, the aggregators, the marketeers needs of today. Thank you for joining us in this webinar, and we look forward to more such interactions in future. Thank you once again for your valuable time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Sir. Namaskar.
Thank you. Namaskar.
I think so. There is one chat requirement for the report has come from Mr. Kamlesh Jain. I request ASSOCHAM team to kindly take it over.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.